arbitrary blanket spread of shutting down businesses, about putting all of these workers out of business, it's a disaster.
New York Governor Cuomo is coming down hard on law-abiding citizens that have followed the coronavirus regulations and are gradually coming out of home confinement.
We have a high number of violations of the policy, which is tantamount to a high likelihood of the spread of the virus. And the local governments are not monitoring, policing, doing the compliance. Yes, there is a very real possibility that we would roll back the reopening in those areas.
Meanwhile, a blind eye ignores the chaos reigning amongst the protesters.
We moved over here to Grand Army Plaza, where there was a massive group of protesters here on the 18th straight day of protests. We saw something we hadn't seen since this movement began, talking about the fight for black trans lives.
The origins of COVID-19 have been propagandized to favor the Chinese government, while numerous researchers have countered that propaganda, revealing that the coronavirus could have only been created in a lab. Sky News recently reported on a scientific study which found COVID-19 may have been a cell culture uniquely adapted for transmission to humans. The paper, currently under peer review, comes from Flinders University professor Nikolai Petrovsky, who has spent over 2 decades developing vaccines against influenza, Ebola, and animal Sars. He says his findings allow for the possibility that COVID-19 leaked from a laboratory.
Now, we're examining not just whether the virus inadvertently leaked from a laboratory in Wuhan, it's most likely the Wuhan Institute of Virology, not just whether it was an accidental leak, but whether it was created in a laboratory. Yes, created. This is a possibility.
So we started modelling the COVID-19 virus back in January in order to design a vaccine candidate. And when we had finished the design of the vaccine candidate, we then went on to explore whether we could use the same modelling approach to try and better understand where the virus originally came from. We found that the COVID-19 virus was particularly well adapted to bind to human cells, and that was far superior to its ability to bind the cells of any other animal species, which is quite unusual, because typically when a virus is well adapted to an animal and then it by chance crosses to a human, typically you would expect it to originally have lower binding to human cells than to the original host animal. We found the opposite, so that was a big surprise.
Propaganda can't juggle the truth forever. The cover-up of the origins of coronavirus will have to be addressed. John Bound reporting.
Now it's easier than ever to have band.video on your iPhone. Simply go to band.video with your Safari browser. Then you click the share button at the bottom of the screen. When the menu comes up, you simply click Add to Home Screen. It will then ask you to name the app. I suggest band.video. You will now have band.video app on your home screen, despite the fact that Tim Cook tried to stop it. The globalists think you're lazy, but by taking a little bit of action, you can override them, have the app, and then tell others about it so they can get the app. So it's up to you whether you want to defy big tech and click the share buttons below on your email, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, however you want. Be sure and share band.video.
Cognitive dissonance is a major issue amongst the left. It can be very stressful dealing with facts you refuse to accept. If you have a family member suffering from this degenerative mental condition, buy them a bottle of Ultimate Fish Oil from InfoWarsStore.com. Studies have suggested that fish oils and fish oil supplementation can slightly lower blood pressure, decrease triglyceride levels, decrease the growth rate of plaque, and provide a soothing reduction in inflammatory inflammatory responses in joints and the digestive system. Recent studies have suggested that high EPA and DHA fish oil can stimulate immune function by increasing the concentration and activity of immune cells. Get your ultimate fish oil today.
There's a reason the globalists are fighting so hard to shut us down. They know the spirit of 1776, the spirit of the Renaissance, shines brightly from InfoWars. That spirit of fighting evil is growing stronger, not weaker under attack, because your will is strong. And make no mistake, this is a war of wills. InfoWars' main mission is to expose the globalist blueprint, rally humanity, and stop them dead in their tracks. As modern Paul reveres, it's critical for all Americans to do their part in the animating contest of liberty to expose darkness and promote freedom and a pro-human future everywhere we go. The quickening is here. We are now entering the crossroads, and InfoWars is rising to the challenge. InfoWars and our dedicated, committed crew is fighting harder than ever. We live in the most historical times ever seen in the history of our species. Everyone can see it, they can feel it, they can taste it. But now, it's all going to the next level. Evil is rising, and to challenge it, good is rising as well. The fact that you're awake, the fact that you're involved, the fact that you're engaged, even in the smallest way, is giant. It's massive. It's consciousness. Now, as the year 2020 dawns, we must redouble our efforts like never before in the fight to bring down the deep state and defeat the globalist anti-human system. But the only way our information gets out is when you spread it and when you support it by funding our operations, which are your operations, at InfoWarsStore.com.